शहर में रात में और दोपहर में आबोदाना ढूंढता है, आशियाना ढूंढता है एक अकेला इस शहर।
Meet 40-year-old Bubbly, an illiterate, landless migrant from rural Bengal. Abject poverty and lack of work opportunity forced Bubbly to leave behind her 3 children and handicapped husband and come to Delhi. It's 4 years now. Bubbly and her companion Bhuli Bibi work for 14 hours a day at construction sites without adequate compensation and no grievance addressal mechanism to hear and mitigate their miseries. Such stories are rampant in the unorganized sector. And according to the experts, this inherent instability at the bottom of socio-economic pyramid has long existed, challenging the much celebrated India shining story.
हम यहाँ काम का ले आई हैं। हम लोग वहाँ गरीब आदमी हैं, जमीन भी नहीं, खेत नहीं, कुछ नहीं है। यहाँ पेट पैदाइश से काम करने वाले आ गए।
The predominance of informal employment is one of the central features of the Indian labour market. The National Sample Survey Organisation or NSSO says there were 45.9 crore workers employed in both organised and unorganised sector in 2004 and 2005, of which unorganised workers formed 94%. Out of 43.3 crore unorganised workers, 26.9 crore workers are employed in the agricultural sector, 2.6 crores in the construction and the remaining in manufacturing activities, trade and transport, communication and services. Most of the people who work in unorganized manufacturing are concentrated in just 3 industries: food products, textile and wood products, furniture and fixtures. Then a large number of unorganized workers are home-based and engaged in occupations like beedi making, agarbatti making, papad making, tailoring and embroidery work. The National Capital Region is the prime magnet for these workers who come from states like Bihar, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan. According to the Economic Survey 2007 and 8, agricultural workers constitute the largest segment of workers in the unorganized sector. That is 52% of the total workers. But millions of people engaged in this sector still grapple with basic issues such as food, nutrition, health, housing, employment, income, life and accident and old age pension.
Government has already taken a decision to expand the Rashtriya Swasthya Bima Yojana to categories much beyond below poverty line. It has been expanded to the street vendors and beedi workers. So the scheme is already being expanded quite substantially.
The Ministry of Labour has categorized the unorganized labour force under 4 groups in terms of occupation, nature of employment, specially distressed categories and service categories.
If we look at employment, so informal sector is great in terms of providing, it gives livelihood to 93% of our workforce. They are not only able to make a living, but they are able to make a good living, and they are able to also reap the benefit of their contribution to the economy.
According to NSSO, 30 million workers in India are migrant labourers, and 25.94 million women workforce has been added to the labour market since the year 2000. Incidentally, the existing social security legislations cover only 8% of the total workforce of 459 million in the country. Workers of the unorganized sector have a different story to tell. They say their incomes have not grown like that of their employers. In fact, if adjusted for inflation, their incomes have fallen over the last 2.5 decades, driving them deeper into poverty.
The focus on informal sector or unorganized workers is very late. Only after the second Labour Commission, which was set up in 1999, with the agenda of working for a comprehensive legislation for informal sector, that this issue of unorganized workers came up. Also the mainstream trade unions, they have very little organizing among the informal sector. And when this Arjun Sen Gupta committee was set up in 2004, this committee gave some recommendations, very serious recommendations. Then the government started taking it up very seriously.
When independent India's constitution was drafted, social security was especially included in list 3 to schedule 7 of the constitution, and it was made as concurrent responsibility of the central and state governments. A number of directive principles of state policy relating to aspects of social security were also incorporated in the Indian constitution.
In case of unorganized workers, first to define them is very difficult, then to locate them is even more difficult, and give benefits to them is probably the most difficult part. The reason is that a large number of them migrate from one place to the another. They are not available at a spot. So locating them becomes a very difficult problem. And hence, it is not very easy to deliver these services.
Despite the fact that not much has been done in providing social security cover to the rural poor and the unorganized labor force, the country has made some progress in this direction. This becomes clear with the highly proclaimed National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005 (NREGA). Though considered a breakthrough, it doesn't have common wage in different states and limits itself only to 100 days work for those registered under the act. The union government has also cleared the setting up of a social security fund for unorganized workers in July 2011. The proposed National Social Security Fund, with an initial corpus of Rs 1,000 crore, aims to benefit 43.3 crore workers of the sector. But the government still has a long way to go in order to reach where Mahatma Gandhi famously described as the last man standing in the line.
हम मेहनत कश इस दुनिया से जब अपना हिस्सा मांगेंगे, एक बाग नहीं एक खेत नहीं हम सारी दुनिया मांगेंगे, एक बाग नहीं एक खेत नहीं हम सारी दुनिया मांगेंगे। हम मेहनत कश इस दुनिया से जब अपना हिस्सा मांगेंगे।
संदीप यश, राज्यसभा टीवी।